Today we are going to rebuild a quarter scale shock. This particular shock is a original, or at least old school, Lightning shock. The current Lightnings that are produced by Bob's Motorsports actually come with Invader shocks, which are a little different. This came off of a car that I just purchased, a Bullseye. And so this is what we're going to work with right now. You can see here that these have these plastic rod ends. I think they're getting harder and harder to find. So we'll see if I have enough spares to rebuild these. Otherwise, we might have to swap these out to Heims. If we do that, we would use a male Heim up here, and the threads are 10/32 threads, and they'd be right-handed. And on the bottom is the same. It's 10/32 on a 3/16 shaft. The bottom Heim would also be right-handed. They make female Heims. But let's roll with this. First thing is disassembling these. To disassemble these, you've got to unscrew the collar, the retaining collar for the spring. There's an O-ring inside. Is this one or two? This has one O-ring on the inside, and then the spring comes out, and what that leaves you with is the Heim. What I have is a strap of leather here, and this leather I use, I'll double it up and I wrap it around the shaft, and I'll grip onto that so that I can break these free. Miraculously, this one here is free, which is kind of scary. It shouldn't be this easy. So off comes the bottom Heim, off comes the spring retainer, the bottom spring retainer. On the top side, you're going to have, oh, there we go. So the rod end, and that looks like a 5/8 or so. It'd be a 10/32 by probably 5/8 of an inch or so set screw, or a grub screw. There's this little aluminum washer that's got a rubber washer on it. These are very reminiscent of roofing washers. So I don't know where they get these, where to get them replaced, but definitely would be looking into it. Okay, so now we got the top, and on this one, the top screws off. Now we're going to have to get the leather. We'll wrap the leather around, and we'll get some pliers. I got some channel locks somewhere around here. I'll be back. Alright, trying to take off the top. If it's really tight, you can try a little bit of heat with a heat gun. Heat the body and not the cap. Okay, so you unscrew the top cap, and you'll see an O-ring on that cap. And go ahead and pop out the shaft here. Ta-da! Oh, now I got oil all over that. Okay. Now, what you guys didn't see is I drained this off camera. I guess I should have taken a Alright, so we're going to use a little bit of carb cleaner, I guess this is, to clean these out. Pretty dirty rag here. Be nice if I had a nice fresh rag. Okay. So you can see if this focuses. Yep, focus, focus, focus. You can see this has a circlip, and having circlip pliers is going to make this job easier. Okay, we're going to use these pliers to pull this apart. And those of you with a sharp eye could see that these are the reverse. These are for opening external circlips rather than internal circlips, but you can make them work. Anyways, once you get the circlip out, then you can go ahead and there's a, on this particular set, that's a, I don't know, brass washer. Brass washer comes out. There's two of these nylon washers. Then one of the O-rings. One more nylon washer. And all these nylon washers on this one is the same size, so pay attention when you're disassembling your shock. Another O-ring, and lastly there's another nylon washer. Okay, so all those guys are there. We're going to go ahead and spray this off camera. I prefer to use the MAF cleaner, mass airflow sensor cleaner, rather than the carburetor. I wasn't paying attention when I grabbed it off the shelf, and so this is what I got now. So there's the shock body. The shock body, if you look, okay, there you go. If you look in there, there's, its internal is a webbing, so it wasn't bored all the way through. It's bored in from two different directions, from this side and this side, so there's still some webbing material left in there with just a 3/16 or so shaft. And this design I like. There's some old school TNT shocks that have a cap on the bottom and a cap on top, so they got the cartridge on bottom. I don't like that design. Again, those are the older school TNTs. The new school TNT shocks are redesigned, so they're more in tune, more in line with these. But the older shocks, when you hit them really hard, you know, you hit a bump. We got disc plows or concrete dots on the inside of some of the tracks. We run on quarter midget tracks, so they'll have either one track has concrete dots that are poured in, and the other one has big disc plow discs. But either way, if you hit it hard with a lot of quick force, it would hydrolock, and all that pressure would blow through the packing of the cartridge, and with the little circlip there on the bottom, it would actually blow the whole pack of O-rings out. With these style where they have that webbing here, it won't be able to push through, you know, the hydraulic fluid with that much force. So these are better. I like these. Good. We're going to go ahead and spray everything down. We're going to replace the O-rings. So the little washers, make sure you clean those out. If you can get a hold of new ones, obviously replacing everything with new is better. This is a budget build, so I'm actually just cleaning everything out, and I'm going to try to reuse it. They weren't actually leaking out the bottom terribly, so right now this is what we'll do. Eventually I am going to replace these shocks all together. I want all my shocks across all my cars to be the same, so I'm going to match these with the other, and that's just a personal preference. Same thing with the O-rings here. Replace them as needed. I know somebody will say you should replace all the O-rings all the time. This is a budget build, and we're not doing that on this budget build. This budget build, as a matter of fact, we're not even using to run for points or anything like that. It's going to be a club car. Here you can see here. Ooh, there you go. You can see there's an internal O-ring usually to most of these shock collar retainers. So let's give them a nice clean. And to put this back together, I don't even have this anymore. It's as simple as just working it in. No special technique required. Just shove it in. Maybe. Ta-da. Okay, there it is. Before you put them on, do dab a little bit of oil